I am Jessica Gordon, Climate Policy Fellow at the California-China Climate Institute, and I'm delighted to moderate today's discussion. The California-China Climate Institute and the Nature Conservancy have collaborated over the past year to advance nature-based climate strategies, or ways that our land and water can contribute to addressing carbon emissions, building resilience, and other environmental and social benefits. Over the past 7 months, our organizations have hosted a series of webinars to bring together scientists, policymakers, and practitioners to discuss nature-based climate strategies, often called by their acronym NBS, in China and California. I'm excited today to talk about some of what we've learned about NBS in both jurisdictions from our webinars and our collaborative work, and some ways forward. To begin, first, I'd like to turn it over to the chair of the California-China Climate Institute, former California Governor Jerry Brown. Governor Brown really needs no introduction. He was a multi-term governor of the state of California, where he advanced some of the most ambitious climate policies in the nation. Prior to that, Brown served as mayor of Oakland and California Attorney General. Governor, allow me to turn it over to you for some opening remarks.
Hi. I'm former Governor Jerry Brown from the state of California. I'm also chairman of the California-China Climate Institute. This is a partnership with Shenhua University and the Nature Conservancy. We're all working together. China, subnational provinces in China, the Nature Conservancy, and many scientists at the University of California. We're working on climate change and specifically using natural lands to capture and store carbon. This is one of the perhaps most unexplored, but very, very important opportunities to reduce our carbon emissions, or at least capture them, and so get us closer to net neutrality. The world is facing a dramatic challenge, getting off of the current momentum of more and more fossil fuel emissions, more and more warming throughout the planet. Will take radical change, and most importantly, it will take cooperation and collaboration with China, with nonprofits like the Nature Conservancy and many, many others. So that's the topic today of the webinar. I welcome you to join with us. We are all together embarked on a profoundly important cause. Let us wish ourselves very good luck, because we're going to need it.
Thank you, Governor. I'm delighted to now introduce our two panelists, Dong Ke, China Global Engagement Director at the Nature Conservancy, and Ashley Conrad Seda, who is a policy expert and research affiliate at the California-China Climate Institute. Both our panelists have a wealth of experience and have been engaged in developing and implementing nature-based climate strategies. First, I'd like to turn it over to Ashley to set the stage for us. Drawing from your expertise and work in California, can you please give us some insights on what you see as the benefits of NBS? Why are nature-based climate strategies an important policy tool in California and beyond?
Thanks for having me here today, Jessica, and for leading these insightful webinars throughout the past year. So nature-based solutions are unique among all climate actions. They can confer cross-cutting benefits to all aspects of our lives and hit a triple bottom line for climate action, directly reducing and avoiding emissions, sequestering carbon, and increasing the resilience of our landscapes and communities to ongoing climate change. Implemented well in California and inclusive of insights from the people who know their landscapes best, nature-based solutions can grow jobs in job sectors, improve recreational access, protect food webs, and provision better water and air quality to communities statewide. One excellent example of the comprehensive benefits of nature-based solutions is the successful implementation of a 2017 grant that a small team from California secured for Tuolumne County, the site of the 2013 Rim Fire. Incidentally, that fire was the second largest at the time, and now it is the 9th largest. We have actually seen so many more fires in the state, and so these comprehensive nature-based solutions are more critical than ever. So back in 2017, we received $70.3 million for the Community and Watershed Resilience Program through a federal competition to respond to natural disasters, mindful of future climate change. The program ultimately generated 22 million in revolving loan funds to support small-scale biomass businesses in the area, creating jobs and driving funding into county coffers, 2 community resilience centers to increase community cohesion and serve as a safe meeting site in the event of another disaster or fire, and thousands of acres completed in forest restoration, including fencing for livestock management and removal of damaging and costly invasive species. So that program really perfectly demonstrates the wide-ranging value of nature-based solutions. It can't be distilled to one data point, but rather nature-based solutions spread benefits across multiple sectors throughout communities and within all sectors of the market and non-market-based economy. So California, with its 100 million acres across deserts, forests, wetlands, urban areas, agricultural lands, and more, its floristic province that is a global biodiversity hotspot, its history of extreme climate impacts, and its growing population really needs nature-based solutions more than ever. Thankfully, California embraces the value of nature-based solutions. In 2019, the state released a draft Natural and Working Lands Climate Change Implementation Plan, and will soon release a climate smart strategy building on that draft. Governor Newsom called for conserving 30% of our lands by 2030. The California Air Resources Board created a natural and working lands inventory and will increase its emphasis on nature-based solutions to meet carbon neutrality goals. The Forest Carbon Plan, Biodiversity Action Plan, multiple executive orders and department plans and actions supported by both Governor Newsom and Governor Brown over the past 7 years all add to the momentum and really will all include nature in policy actions from here on out. So we have a lot more work to do, a lot of education, collaboration across academia, government, and civil society. And if we can really increase that collaboration and put some commensurate effort that we already put into the built environment, into the natural environment, I think we'll see a lot of faster and better progress. So thanks again, and I look forward to more discussion.
Thank you, Ashley, for all those important insights and for sharing some of California's NBS efforts. It's really exciting to hear about all this recent work that's trying to better integrate approaches to climate, environment, and also social challenges. Now I'd like to turn to Ke to share some of China's experience with NBS.
Thanks, Jessica. And I can't agree more with Ashley about these nature-based solutions benefits. However, nature-based solutions for climate used to be undervalued for many reasons. You know, some people basically, they are simply not aware that the nature-based solutions can provide 1/3 of the cost-effective climate mitigation needed from now to 2030 to stabilize the global warming. And some people just think, oh, nature-based solutions may take too much time to see the tangible benefits, to see the short-term results. And so they are very reluctant to have the major investments and the financing. And some people basically ignore NBS intentionally because they think that the NBS can distract the attention away from the fossil fuel emissions. And China, I believe in California, both facing these type of challenges, but I'm very proud that China is stepping up on several fronts. For example, China's co-leadership of the nature-based solutions at the New York Climate Summit in 2019. And also China is hosting of these the 15th forthcoming conference of this convention of biological diversity in Kunming in October. You know, all these events create very timely opportunities and a considerable political space to advance nature-based solutions. And recently, our President Xi Jinping committed to increase the forest stock volume by 6 billion cubic meters from the 2005 level. And China also made some, incredible kind of quantifiable goals by 2035 on nature-based solutions. For example, the vegetation coverage of the grassland will reach 60% from current 56% through protection and restoration. And the wetland area will not decline, and 60% of the wetlands will be protected from current 52%. You know, they are ambitious goals, but to achieve these ambitions, we need to kind of integrate commitment, knowledge, investment, and actions. There are lots of work to do in front of us. Thanks.
Thanks, Ka. Yeah, clearly we all have a lot of work to do. So now you've been, a really integral part of this webinar series that we've done, since the start of the year. And so could you please share with us some of your key takeaways from these webinars?
Sure. Thanks, Jessica. Yes, absolutely. Nature-based solutions, I think it really provided a great framework to pursue the integrated solutions, as Ashley just mentioned, which can contribute collectively for climate, biodiversity, and human well-being. However, how to institutionalize nature-based solutions into public policies, how to internalize NBS into the value chains and the corporate practices, and how to integrate it into the innovative finance mechanisms and economic recovery are new and challenging. So the monthly NBS webinars co-organized by California China Climate Institute and the Nature Conservancy offer great opportunities to bring governmental officials, researchers, NGO leaders, and the community representatives from both countries together to share science-based evidence on NBS, which really helps lead to more recognition of the value of NBS, which can also translate this science into actions. And also CCCI and the TNC both are science-oriented organizations. So that's really our kind of common ground to work together. And we also brainstorm the potential cooperation areas between China and California. I remember Dr. Liu Yan from Nanjing Institute of the Environmental Sciences proposed to have a comparative study of biodiversity conservation policies between California and China. I think that's a great idea. And also we discussed how to join efforts to apply nature-based solutions even beyond our jurisdictional borders at scale. For example, right now, CCCI and TNC are collaborating on research to examine California and China's global carbon footprint from the tropical timber imports. So another thing I really want to highlight is that, from this process, I got to know so many wonderful women leaders who are passionate and working hard to fight climate change, and including Fan Dai, the director of CCCI, my TNC colleagues, Michelle Pasro and Hu Li, and Bingbing Wang from Tsinghua University, and also both of you. I very much have enjoyed working with you and working with them. I'm so encouraged and inspired by their enthusiasm and their productive work. Thanks.
Thanks, Ka. Yeah, I also have felt really lucky to be able to work with such an amazing team of women climate leaders. And thank you so much also for that analysis of the lessons learned. So now I'd like to ask you both a question. As we move forward, what do you see as some of the ways that China and California can collaborate together on NBS? How do you think we can further advance this collaboration?
I guess I'll jump in here. Thanks.
Sure.
Yes, thank you for that acknowledgement. I think it's really important to reflect just how diverse this group of collaborators is through the Institute and with TNC and with our colleagues in China, and just how much we've learned from one another. Even being on Zoom for so long, we really advanced knowledge through the webinars and through our regular conversations. So I think that's a really great point to mention, and really important in terms of the collaboration between all of those parties. So, California has consistently worked with partners around the world, and this partnership with China, it has just been deepened through the advent of the Institute, and then with work with TNC as well. So originally, California, started partnering on a small scale with subnational jurisdictions. Some examples of that are where we learned from Acre, a state in Western Brazil, on the ways that they use remote sensing and other capabilities to quickly respond to forest fires, detect illegal poaching in their natural systems. And we've really run with that in California and are trying to adopt LIDAR and land fire and other types of techniques. China's research on the cascading actual costs of wildfires, not just the suppression costs, but also the costs downstream on the global economy, the global market, livelihoods, healthcare costs. That research is really, really eye-opening for California and helps advance more proactive funding to address forest health. And I think with the Institute and our Chinese partners, we can do a lot more work there to really, again, increase education and collaboration opportunities. And then also, partners in European cities help us both understand how to live with climate change, especially when it comes to flooding and sea level rise. We clearly have a lot to learn in both of our jurisdictions about how to manage that. So I do think that cooperation and collaboration will serve to enhance our knowledge base, forge these partnerships across boundaries, and really highlight the global nature of climate change, right? We can't take one action in one jurisdiction and then subvert that action in another jurisdiction. We have to work together collectively because nature does not know the boundaries that we have set politically or otherwise. So I think learning from one another, sharing best practices and policy, sharing academic expertise, creating these much broader communities that extend well beyond just the nature-based community, all of that will be incredibly beneficial from a global perspective. And it's something that we're going to work on for the rest of our lifetimes and continue to work on with next generations to come too. So thanks.
Yes, thank you, Ashley. Frankly, I don't have much new to add, but I just would like to echo what you just said, that, absolutely, we know that no single country, no single state can solve the climate change issue. And to win this climate war, collaboration is perhaps the only path in front of us, especially because China and the US are among the two largest global economies and the two largest carbon emitters. And China and California have a long history to work together on climate, and both are taking proactive roles, actions on ecological protection and restoration. And we absolutely should take advantage of this foundation we have built together to advance nature-based solutions. Now, I see this work just happening in the following few areas. Just nothing new, actually, but I think I just want to strengthen science collaboration. So the continuous science collaboration in identifying and quantifying the natural climate solutions pathways, and also better understand their co-benefits for biodiversity and people, and the associated cost and benefit. So this type of information will feed to the second point, that's the policy collaboration. So this will include how different government agencies work together to develop these integrated policies for climate and natural resources management, because we are still kind of struggling and thinking how to incorporate these two pieces together. And also we need market-based mechanisms where the business, government, civil society can invest in nature-based solutions that deliver climate and economic benefits. And then lastly, this knowledge cross-pollination, knowledge sharing at this global level is super important. I think this collaboration should just between California and China, it has to sort of go beyond these two economies. So our continued knowledge exchange and dialogue at this global level will be very critical for accelerating the progress to ensure our understanding opportunities and actions needed to realize the climate mitigation and adaptation through the natural climate solutions. Thank you.
Thank you both for those very interesting reflections. I really appreciate your focus on the importance of partnership and collaboration and exchange. Climate policy really requires a large set of tools, and NBS is an important and often neglected one. And there's clearly, you've laid out these very numerous ways that California and China, two climate policy leaders, can really work together to address this urgent and pressing issue. Now I'd like to introduce Lynn Scarlett to give some closing remarks. Lynn is the Chief External Affairs Officer at the Nature Conservancy. In her role, Lynn influences climate and conservation policy in the United States and in 79 countries and territories in which the Nature Conservancy operates. and advances private sector partnerships to support sustainability and enhance ambitious actions to address climate change. Lynn has been a great partner and supporter of the California China Climate Institute and the Nature Conservancy collaboration. And so we're very grateful to have her give us a few words today.
Hello, I'm Lynn Scarlett, Chief External Affairs Officer for the Nature Conservancy. As we heard from Governor Brown and our colleagues, the need to address climate change is urgent. Addressing climate change requires a portfolio of strategies to reduce greenhouse gases in the atmosphere to levels that will help us avoid the worst impacts of climate change. Nature-based strategies, the restoration, stewardship, and conservation of forests, wetlands, agricultural lands, and rangelands have a critical role to play in helping us reduce carbon emissions and adapt to climate change. Partnerships and collaboration across sectors, communities, and economies are also essential to scale up and sustain progress. The United States and China are significant influencers around the globe. California is a conservation and climate pioneer and has catalytic influence at the US federal level. California and China have a history of collaborating on climate solutions. It's exciting to see nature-based solutions becoming a part of their overall climate strategies and opportunities. This type of collaboration can accelerate action within their jurisdictions and also globally. We can learn much from each other through science, policy, dialogue, and exchange. The Nature Conservancy is excited to partner with the California China Climate Institute to help inform and accelerate nature-based climate actions. The virtual webinars, like this one, are a product of this partnership and effort to support collaborative climate work across the two regions. We'll be hosting more of these webinars this fall to continue advancing the science, policy, and dialogue on nature-based climate strategies, and hope you'll join us in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn, Governor Brown, Ashley, and Ka, and to everyone for joining us. And we hope you found this discussion informative. Please take a look at our YouTube channel to watch the other videos from the Nature-Based Solutions webinar series. Thanks.